Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are doing something a little different. We're tracing the geography of memory.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, usually when we talk about historical figures, especially, let's say, revolutionaries, we jump straight to the highlight reel.
Right. The great man theory of history. It's all about the big speeches, the battles.
The battles, the treaties, exactly. You get the what, but you very rarely get the why.
And the why is everything.
So today, we're rewinding the tape. We're looking at how a child becomes a leader. Specifically, we are doing a deep dive into the early life of Abdullah Suleiman.
And this is a fascinating case study because if you want to understand the man who became a key figure in the Eritrean Liberation Front, you really have to go back.
Way back.
You have to look at the boy who grew up in the market squares and courtrooms of the 1950s.
And to do that, we have this incredible source. It's a transcript of an interview called Journey Through Eritrean Memory.
Presented by Ibrahim Idris.
That's right, via Salam Media and the Adel Window series.
It's a fantastic piece of oral history.
It really is. And for those of you who can't see the source material we're looking at, there's a stamp in the bottom corner of the video. It says Adel Media Highlight 2026.
Which is important. It signals that this isn't just a casual chat.
No, it's an archival effort. It's about preserving a specific narrative before it, gets lost to time.
Which is so crucial. So our mission today is to cover what the source calls his first decade of awareness. So we're looking, from his birth in 1948 up to about 1965.
Exactly. So no politics yet. I mean, no official politics, no party cards or manifestos.
Oh, there's plenty of politics. But it's the politics of the playground, the market, the classroom.
I see.
It's about how an environment shapes a person's character. I mean, you don't just wake up one day and decide to lead a revolution. That instinct is built brick by brick.
Okay, so let's look at those bricks. Abdullah Suleiman is born in 1948, but the story really kicks off when his family moves to the city of Teseney.
And context here is everything. Teseney isn't just some random town.
Right. I looked it up on a map. It's in the western region, right on the border with Sudan.
Exactly. So in the late 40s, early 50s, this place was a hub, an access point, not some sleepy village.
In the interview, he describes it as a gentle city living in welfare. That sounds almost, idyllic.
It does. But the key detail for me is the diversity he talks about. He mentions people settling there from all these different directorates.
A real melting pot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of that border location, you had the indigenous citizens, of course, but you also had this constant flow of migrants. It creates this very dense, very rich social fabric.
So for a young boy, that's your first lesson in sociology, right?
Right. You're seeing difference and you're seeing coexistence as your normal. He wasn't living in a silo.
And there's this one detail about his father, Abdullah Hamad, that it seems to set the entire course for his life.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
I circled it 3 times in my notes. His father held the title of Sheikh of the Market. It sounds so cinematic, doesn't it? Like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean for a kid growing up?
Well, think about it. The market is the heartbeat of a city, especially a border city where trade is life.
Okay.
And the sheikh of the market isn't just another merchant. He's the regulator. He's the mediator. He's dealing with prices, disputes, supply chains.
Personalities?
Oh, for sure. Big personalities. He's basically the referee of the entire local economy.
So little Abdullah isn't just playing with sticks in the dirt. He's watching his dad negotiate. He's seeing community management in real time.
Yes. He's seeing how you de-escalate a fight between 2 angry traders. That's economics, but it's also emotional intelligence.
He even says 50 years later, he still remembers the names of the merchants.
That tells you how deep that impression was. He was absorbing the art of dealing with people. I mean, if you can handle a busy market in Teseney,
You could probably handle a political council later on.
you're halfway there.
Okay, so the family's in Teseney for about 5 years. Then they move to a place called Hajar. And this is where things get really fascinating inside the home itself. We have to talk about the nail board.
The nail board. This is one of those details that you can only get from oral history. It's so specific.
It's amazing. So for everyone listening, Suleiman describes how his father stored information. No filing cabinet. He took a piece of wood, hammered long nails into it.
And just spiked the newspapers on there.
Right, to archive them. It's like a primitive database.
The original news feed. You want last month's news, go to the board.
But just pause on that for a second. Think about what that tells a child. It says information is precious. You don't just read the paper and toss it. You archive it. You put it on the wall.
Hmm.
It becomes part of the furniture.
And it wasn't just newspapers. He talks about being surrounded by books. His uncle, Idris Abdullah Muhammad, was there. The house was full of reading material.
And his father had another job here too, right? He was a writer of petitions, a notary public.
Which connects perfectly to where they lived in Hajar. This might be my favorite part of this source.
Me too.
They didn't just live near the court. Their room and veranda were actually part of the court complex.
I had to read that twice. He says he could just look out his window and he's basically in the courtroom.
Can you imagine? You're 7, maybe 8 years old. You're trying to do your homework.
And there's a trial happening 5 feet away.
Most kids hear birds chirping outside. He's hearing litigation.
He's hearing plaintiffs, defendants, arguments, grievances.
He's hearing people say, I have been wronged and I want justice. That's the soundtrack to his childhood.
So he was getting a law degree by osmosis.
He was learning about grievance. That's the critical piece here. For a future activist, that's your foundational training. You learn how the system is supposed to work.
And maybe more importantly, how it doesn't.
Precisely. You have the theory of the world from the newspapers on the nailboard and the reality of the world right outside your window.
Which leads us right into his formal education. He started school pretty young, around 5 or 6.
And the curriculum sounds quite rigorous. History, geography, English, math. But the centerpiece, and what becomes the flashpoint, is the Arabic language.
He mentions teachers who clearly had a huge impact on him, like Professor Othman.
Yes, and classmates too. It sounds like a really vibrant intellectual environment.
But there's a dark cloud forming. This is the late 50s, early 60s. The Ethiopian influence is starting to really dominate Eritrea.
And what that meant, in a very practical sense for a kid in a classroom, was suppression.
Of the Arabic language specifically.
A key part of the political domination was linguistic suppression.
So wait, at the exact same time, he's falling in love with reading these newspapers and books from the nailboard.
The state is trying to take that language away.
Wow. That's the tension right there.
That's the friction. He says the political situation was becoming clear even to them as kids. When you suppress a language, you politicize it. So for him, reading Arabic is no longer just homework.
It's an act of identity.
It's an act of defiance. And that's how revolutionaries are made.
Well, speaking of defiance, let's fast forward a bit. Suleiman is 16 now. He's not just reading anymore, he's writing.
And not just writing anything. He submits 3 very specific articles to a newspaper.
Okay, get this. Article number 1, The Peasants. He's writing about agrarian rights.
Heavy stuff for a 16-year-old.
Article number 2, City Aesthetics. He's complaining about potholes and the city not being cleaned properly.
I love that one. So local.
And article number 3, Greed. A critique of merchants.
He is 16.
I know. I was worried about getting my driver's license. He's taking on the entire socio-economic structure of his town.
But it all tracks, right? The peasants, that's the rural world he grew up in. Greed, that's what he learned from his father. The Sheikh of the market, about what's fair versus what's exploitation.
And the potholes.
That's the civic pride he learned growing up in what he called the gentle city of Teseney.
The reaction he gets, though, is, well, it's pretty telling. His uncle sees the articles and is basically like, Abdullah, what are you doing?
Yeah, the uncle is the voice of caution. He tells him, these are big issues, which is code for this is dangerous.
Right. Why are you getting involved?
You don't critique the status quo in that environment and not expect some pushback?
But Suleiman didn't stop with the articles. This is the part that made me laugh. He actually went to the municipality.
The audacity.
He walks into the office of the head of the municipality to complain about the potholes in person.
It's this wonderful, innocent view of how government should work. I see a problem, I'll tell the person in charge, they'll fix it.
And the official's response.
Let me guess. Lack of budget.
You got it. We have a lack of budget.
The eternal excuse.
It's universal. But that's a huge lesson for him, isn't it? He tries writing, then he tries direct advocacy, and he just hits a wall.
He realizes that just pointing out a problem, even eloquently, doesn't mean it gets solved. And that frustration, that's what can push someone from being a reformer.
Someone who wants to fix the potholes.
To being a revolutionary, someone who wants to change the whole system that allows the potholes to exist.
That makes perfect sense. And that frustration leads us to the great escape. Or, well, the failed escape.
Ah, yes, he gets the Al-Azhar fever.
He decides he wants to go to Cairo to study at Al-Azhar University. which was the dream for a lot of young students then, I'd imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Cairo was the cultural capital. Al-Azhar was the pinnacle. It was like dreaming of going to Oxford.
So he packs his bag, says goodbye to his friends. He dreams all night about Egypt. It's the start of his great adventure.
And then reality intervenes.
It's the uncle again.
The uncle is the recurring antagonist of his teenage years.
The next morning, his uncle just intercepts him. No big scene. He just takes him back to school.
It's kind of heartbreaking. He said he was dreaming of Cairo and woke up back in his classroom in Eritrea.
Why do you think the uncle stopped him? Just being protective?
I think so, yes. The journey was risky, the politics were unstable, but there's a deeper narrative significance there, I think.
Which is?
If he had gone to Cairo, he might have become a scholar, an academic abroad. He would have been removed from the daily struggle. By staying, he was forced to remain grounded in the Eritrean reality.
He couldn't escape the problems, so he had to face them.
Exactly. He was forced to stay in the pressure cooker.
Before we wrap up, we have to mention his time in the city of Keren. The source material gets almost poetic when he talks about it.
Keren is often described this way. He talks about the coexistence, and he gives this beautiful, specific image.
The mosque and the church.
Right next to each other. He talks about hearing the call to prayer, the azan, mixing with the sound of the church bells ringing.
It sounds lovely.
It is. But for him, it wasn't just noise. He explicitly says that memory informed his political philosophy later on. He saw that tolerance could work. He heard it. He saw that different communities could share a skyline, a soundscape, without conflict.
So when he eventually joins the struggle, he's not fighting for some abstract idea. He's fighting for the memory of Keren.
Exactly. For the diversity of Teseney, for the idea of justice from the al-Hajar courtroom, for the tolerance of Keren. It all connects.
It really does. You know, when we started this, I thought we were just looking at a boy's childhood. But we're really seeing the construction of a worldview.
We're seeing the raw materials.
So, to recap, we have the Sheikh's son in Teseney learning the art of the deal.
Then the boy in al-Hajar listening to court cases through his window and reading newspapers nailed to a wall.
We have the teenage journalist getting his first taste of bureaucracy over a pothole.
And the student who almost left for Cairo but stayed to face his country's future instead.
It's the formation of a civilian on the very edge of becoming a revolutionary. The innocence is fading, and he's got the tools, literacy, civic awareness, a sense of justice, to do something about it.
It's a masterclass in how our environment shapes us. It's not just what you're born with, it's what you see out your window.
Which makes me think about our listeners. It raises a really fascinating question for everyone listening, doesn't it?
It does. Suleiman had his wooden board with nails, that physical focus point for information in his home.
Right.
So I want to ask you, listening right now, what was your wooden board? What was the source of information in your childhood home that you just absorbed without even trying? Was it a stack of magazines on a coffee table, the evening news on TV every single night?
Conversations at the dinner table. For me, it was probably the radio always on in the kitchen.
And that absolutely shapes how you hear the world.
It does. And here's a final thought to leave you with. Suleiman's first battles weren't fought with guns. They were fought with words. About potholes, about peasant rights.
And that's the provocative thought I want to end on. Does real political change always start with the mundane? We romanticize revolution, this big sweep of history, but his story suggests the spark isn't some grand ideology. The spark is a pothole that never gets fixed. The spark is a greedy merchant. It's a grievance that goes unheard in that courtroom just outside your window. Maybe the big revolutions are just the accumulation of 1,000 tiny local frustrations.
A pothole that never gets fixed. I'm going to be thinking about that all day. Thank you, as always, for connecting all those dots.
My pleasure.
And thank you, the listener, for joining this deep dive into the Adel Media Archive.